Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Fury the Outlands, where a bunch of stupid-ass guys and Roz play D&D.
We rocking with Mark, because Mark rocking with us.
Alright, I'm your humble dungeon master, Dan. I'm a theater freak and a TTRPG geek. And Jesus Christ, I'm going to have a long recap ahead of me. But before we get into that, as usual, time for our weekly plug-in. If you guys want to know what our lives are like outside of D&D, but still in some sort of nerdy retrospect, head over to Spotify and listen to the podcast Guys. I have no idea. Yeah, what the fuck happened last episode of that thing?
We didn't really talk about much. I had a one single actual thing to talk about, but other than that, no. We were just asking questions and just saying random shit.
We just
not that
okay, so for about an hour.
Yeah, so just a normal day. A normal day with you crazy bastards.
Normal podcast episode. Yep.
About crazy as you can get, because I mean.
Yeah, we do these every Saturday and whatnot. Sometimes we get a whole large group, sometimes we don't. Sometimes, actually, for the most part, we talk about nerdy stuff. One of the times we went way back. Let's just say there's one episode there we wouldn't recommend to kids.
Hi, Mom.
Well, we don't recommend any of our episodes to kids, but just that one in particular is
just that one in particular. Anyway.
Because I will say fart nugget whenever I get the chance, and you will not deny me that.
Unless you're in character, which when's the next time a Raikion's going to call someone a fart nugget?
Could you imagine? Fart nugget.
All right. With that, let us get into this long-ass recap, because Roz hasn't been with us since episode 8.
Oh, yeah.
And we are now on episode 13. So, take a sip of water here. What am I, Sam Riegel? No. So, last we left off our troop, after the completion of the quest to rescue the Archmage Rathenfell and a bunch of other mages from the Night Heralds, the party made their way back to Baron's Rest, only to discover that in their travels out of the Crescent Hollow, a person that at this point has been labeled as the Spelltech Raider somehow managed to make their way into Night Herald territory, into the Crescent Hollow, and eliminate 1/3 of the Raider clan's population. Raikion assuming that it was mainly because of him or some other can of fuckery that he caused, wanted to basically escape on his own, but was convinced to eventually take the party with him further into Sister of the Flame territory to basically kind of seek sanctuary and see if they know anything else. During these travels, the party met with Raikion's contact, a halfling by the name of Rogue, who offered them sanctuary in a outpost within Night Herald territory known as the Abbey. During this time, she also offered a partial contract to Raikion and the party for an escort mission. It was later discovered that this escort mission was a lot deeper than just a simple mission, but in actuality was an escort mission into Wyvernack territory to grab a kid who was rumored to be one part of a prophecy of the return of Tiamat. Raikion, the party, and Rogue eventually went into Wyvernack territory the long way round to a settlement known as Talon, where this kid and a couple of stranded sister members of the Sisters of the Flame were located. After a little bit of shopping and a little bit of exploration, the party found the sisters and the kid, who they eventually realized was not a part of this so-called prophecy, as this kid apparently was not from this world, and much like their friend Crystalina Star, was someone who likes to travel between different worlds. The kid introduced himself as Ryukai Krestos Tenjiro and explained that him and his aunt, Dawn Tenjiro, were around during some type of war, got separated, and next thing that Ryukai knew, he was left alone and his aunt was missing. After a bar fight, an immediate beeline out of Wyvernack territory, and a little bit more of conversation, it also came to the discovery that this aunt of Ryukai was also someone who somehow impersonated the primordial goddess of fire, Rhea, at one point, and what led to some sort of big religious debacle, which eventually led to her having to seek forgiveness and eventually going on her way. After a few more days of travel, the party with Ryukai and Rogue and a few members of the Sisters of Flame made their way to the headquarters of the Sisters, a place known as the Temple of the Sands, in which the several members of the clan thought that Ryukai would probably be the most safest. During this, Raikyon decided to kind of walk around, enjoy the sights. Yuri met up with a figure known as the Kindred Mother, who was the religious spiritual leader of the Sisters of the Flame and High Priestess of Fire to an organization known as the Primordial Enclave. Some conversations were held, and some events happened to which led Raikyon going into a fight pit and losing, and for some bizarre reason also meeting with Talia Bastion Davari, who most other raiders recognize as the bandlord to the Sisters of the Flame, though that isn't technically true, but people just go along with it at that point. Later on in the night, it was discovered that a small group of Wyvernack raiders were making their way into Sister of the Flame territory to seek parley. However, they would only speak with Raikyon. The party with Raikyon and several other members of the Sisters in tow went to the meeting point, in which Raikyon met with another Drock Henri by the name of Onyx the Blood Knight. Onyx had some conversations with Raikyon in which he said that the Wyvernacks would not be going after Ryukai or Raikyon himself, and Onyx can ensure that this could continue to do so if Raikyon would do him a favor. After some pushing into the reasons and whatnot, Onyx revealed that he wanted to reunify the Outlands as a nation to eliminate the prospect of raiders and bandlords and survival of the fittest. To give Raikyon some time to think, Onyx gave the group 48 hours to come up with his decision before the group would meet again. And at an ending note, Onyx also mentioned that Raikyon can once again bring his friends, aka the party and or the rest of the sisters, to the meeting within 2 days' time. After which, everyone made their way back to the temple, and that's kind of where we are now.
Yeah, damn.
Yeah,
That
Roz,
was
you missed a lot.
Oh boy. Okay, so Arakion's meeting up with this guy to what is the agreement, like, to help him make it a nation?
So at this point, the proposition Onyx made to Arakion was that Onyx is trying to form some form of a revolution to eliminate to try and create a more national structure of the Outlands, instead of having this whole having the bandlords in charge and doing whatever they want across the Outlands.
Right.
Arakion,
He was just looking for
Arakion did not give an answer yet, and Onyx said that Arakion had 2 days time to think it over before giving a final answer.
Yep, he was looking for a man of quote unquote my talents.
Oh.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay, what are the party's
Onyx,
current thoughts on it?
as of right now, you don't know. At this point, I'd say you guys made your way back to the Temple of the Sands after that whole conversation. You guys get out of Arakion's cruiser. You see Talia and like some of the other sisters getting out of the various other caravans and cruisers that they took to the location. Talia kind of looks over to you, Arakion, and goes, well, I'm guessing you guys are probably going to want some sleep first off before we do anything else. But in the morning, you and the rest of your group should probably come to the top floor to kind of talk about this.
I need to work on my project. And then he turns and goes to his little workstation that he has. Speaking of which, can y'all hear me properly? Like,
yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, you sound fine to me.
I actually have one more character sheet to throw in on this.
all right, well.
Okay, so yeah, you go off to work on your little project. Talia kind of looks to the rest of you, which in this case is just Yuri and Bigby, and is like, is he always like that? Or
That seems like that's like the thing.
Pretty normal.
I mean, don't get me wrong, the only kind of interaction I had with him was making sure he was all right after getting beaten the crap out of by Sasha at the fight pit, but
yeah,
he keeps to himself.
I was gonna say, I've known this guy for a very short time, and it seems like when he gets in his head, he doesn't really like talking to anyone else about it. He kind of internalizes it.
all right, well, yeah, at that point, I guess, get some rest. Like I said, you guys and the Kindred Mother and myself should probably eventually meet up to kind of discuss this whole thing that Onyx was talking about.
Can I ask, Talia, have you, like, had run-ins with this Onyx person before? Known anything about them?
She kind of looks at you, Yuri, kind of with a head cocked, and is like, yeah, I'm sorry, this is going to sound like a weird question, but where are you from, out of curiosity?
My family's from Baron's Rest, and we kind of tried to stay out of raider business in totality.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. That's fair. So yeah, Onyx is yeah, no, the sisters have had issues with Onyx before. As you've probably heard, one of his more infamous nicknames is the Blood Knight. He's to kind of understand his reputation, you kind of do need to understand something about the Wyvern-Axe themselves. I'm sure it's common knowledge that the Wyvern-Axe are mainly a clan made up of Dracokin, Dragonborn, Draconry, Kobolds, Lizardfolk, Yuan-Ti, the likes of that. The sort of social structure within Dracokin is very bloodline related in the sense that those with sort of more diluted draconic blood are kind of seen as inferior in comparison to those with greater draconic blood. That's one of the reasons why the Bandlord is a Dragonborn and not a Draconry. Onyx. So when I say that Onyx has is one of the only Draconry to have a powerful command in the ear of the Bandlord, that is a high feat, especially for someone like him. And I know that sounds bad, trust me, but that's how the Wyvern-Axe see it. This kid originally started from nothing, eventually rose up in the ranks to be one of the most terrifying swordsmen within the Wyvern-Axe, to the point where his skills with a sword and enhancing his combat skills with magic became something of well-renowned throughout the rest of the raiders out here. He is, I don't know, not a lot of people have actually been able to talk to him long enough to truly know what's going on inside that head of his, but he's ruthless, and if he wanted to, he could have made sure that we all would have had a much greater fight for whatever his goal is, which thankfully in this case wasn't the kid.
Oh, wow. Guy sounds like fucking trouble, to say the least, I guess.
Yeah, well, every clan always has someone that always sounds like fucking trouble. I mean, the Night Heralds had Liza the Gunslinger. Wyvern-Axe have Onyx the Blood Knight. We have either myself or Sasha, though honestly I'm more known for sort of alchemy skills more than actual combat, but Sasha's fairly fucking terrifying with a sword herself. I mean, have you seen that thing? She just kind of points over to Sasha, which, Roz, because you have no idea, Sasha was one of the sisters who the party kind of helped escort out of Talon.
Oh, okay.
So you just kind of, you see this woman with this sort of long curved, like great sword-esque type of sword, just kind of look to you guys and like directing the rest of the sisters. And Talia continues to talk and is like, yeah, and like earlier tonight, her and Rakion decided to have a little match within the freaking fight pit over at the tavern, and I mean, it was a close match, but she fucking threw him against the wall at the end.
He's like, well, she must be a talented fighter, I guess.
Well, she's also a paladin, so divine fuckery. But then again, when it comes to fight pit, almost anything goes as long as everyone's agreeable to it. Anyway, you guys should probably get some rest. We can talk more about everything else tomorrow.
Cool. Sounds good.
With that, she goes off, starts conversing with the rest of the sisters that are within the area. And you guys are left to your own devices at the moment. Rakion, you're going off back to the room to work on your project. Yuri, what about you? What are you going to be up to?
Yuri, I think we'll save the thing he wants to do for a later time, so Yuri's just gonna conk out.
Alright. Big B, what about you?
I will also sleep. So that sounds like a good idea.
Alright. Yeah, you guys get back to the room. You see Icarus is still fast a fucking sleep. That fucker's been out since you guys made it to the temple, has no fucking clue what's going on. Big B, you and Yuri just, go and hit the sack. Arakion, I'm gonna say... Actually, this is gonna be the first time we're gonna say this. I'm gonna have you make... Because, like, at this point, I'd say at this point, the sort of work for the sort of blueprints are fairly well done to where you could start working on it a little bit. So I'm going to say if you wanted to work more on the blueprints themselves to kind of work on sort of the, for lack of better words, the mathematical stuff of your project, I'd say to...
yeah, he's pretty much finalizing everything, making sure everything is looking squared away.
Okay, because I was going to say, if you wanted to at least start on the base, because I was going to say, if you wanted to work more on the blueprints, that'd just be straight intelligence, but if you were going to work on, like, maybe starting to get sort of the skeletal structure of the project, you could roll a Tinker's Tools check with, but, I mean... Yeah, no, that's entirely up to you.
Well, now that you've mentioned it, I mean, I guess I can go ahead and, All right, where's it at?
It's going to be under your tools.
All right, so Tinker's Tool, what kind of check?
I'm going to say this is still going to be...
Intelligente?
Yeah, I'm going to say this is still going to be an intelligence with your Tinkers.
There you go.
All right, yeah. So you start to work on the outer frame. Start to work on the frame of your little project, and for a starting concept, it is starting to look actually not too shabby. You've got a lot of the, like, where the joints would be. You've got everything measured out very well. And eventually, like, as time goes on and you're working on this, you do have the beginning of sort of the skeletal structure of your project before you realize, yeah, no, I need to get some fucking sleep.
Well, actually, he's got a lot on his brain. He might not even sleep.
Are you going to be working all night?
Yeah. I think he'll just work all night on it, as much as he can get done.
Yeah, so I will say, if you're going to be working all night, you are not going to get the benefit of long rest, and you will take a point of exhaustion.
Really, I got my shit rocked last episode. But I want the story. I want the story. So
So it's entirely up to you. You can either work all night to continue improving on the project, or you take a long rest and you get all of your stuff reset.
it's gonna be better in the long run because of the day that we might have today. So I'll take the long rest. I think maybe after, maybe at 1 or 2 or so in the morning, he finally takes off the bed.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, at that point, uh, you do have the beginning of the framework for the project, and everyone does get a long rest in.
Yippee.
So for actually for you, Roz, that means jack shit.
Me, I
But
got I got my I got my ass handed to me last time. So
Yes,
Yeah, I've
you
been
did.
snoozing for like the past couple weeks.
I
Okay,
fuck.
so eventually you guys awaken to the sounds of kind of what almost seem to be like cloister bells. Arakion, you're you probably stay asleep for a little bit longer, like probably by like an hour or so. But eventually, by the time everyone is awake, it's probably about, I would say about 9:30 or so in the morning before
Okay.
everyone wakes up.
Huh. So this actually gives me a lot of time to do this. All right. So when Rekiana first gets up, he wants to do his stretches. His old man back is, crunchy. Oh man,
Roll a con save. No.
Well, he pops one of his vertebrae out.
No.
No, he's gonna. Upon waking up, he's just gonna take off downstairs to grab anything that he may have spent up last night in his work, like just extras of anything that he may need. He pretty much
Okay,
the
yeah.
whole time he most likely is just gonna bury himself into the work because he is still in his head trying to think until like at least the meeting later on today.
Right. And then yeah, one thing I did also forget to say about the recap is that along with because you guys technically did do a small job for these guys, you are allowed to also get some stuff from their supplies free of charge. So, and with that,
We're saying that we were gonna get, riches. We're gonna get the gold.
well, you did get gold last. You did get gold from it. Rob, yeah, no.
Oh yeah, no, it was 200 last time, wasn't it?
Yeah, no, you got 200 gold from it last time.
Yeah, that shitty amount. Yeah, I remember now.
Yeah, no, you got 200 gold, and I think it was, and they said that you could grab some stuff from their storage supplies if you wanted to.
Okay. Well, is everybody? Well, here I'm gonna wait for everybody to go.
Yeah, no, at this point everyone is awake. So Yuri, what are you going to be doing this morning before the meeting?
Yuri similarly, old man stretches. And
Now
then
you're going to have to roll a con save. No.
No, Yuri is definitely the one who would have to roll a con save if it were a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
That bet popping.
I think, man,
Shit.
I think Yuri is still Oh, it's lightning. Yeah, Yuri's just going to stretch and then kind of just sit on the edge of like the bed, I'm assuming. And just kind of like he's trying to piece together kind of like everything in his head, trying to form like, because it feels like there's a big picture that he's missing. So he's just kind of processing shit and sitting there dissociating.
Right. All right.
Hope y'all can hear
Big B. Big B. What about you?
As soon as I wake up, I'm gonna be watching Arikan work on whatever his project is. I have no idea what it is, and if he hasn't told me, I'm not gonna figure it out. But I'm gonna watch him work on it.
Yeah. So, yeah, you just basically get up and watch Arakion start to work on this project of his for the part of the morning. Yuri, you're trying to kind of piece together sort of the events of last night. Though, considering the fact that you weren't next to Arakion when he was conversing with Onyx, you don't really know exactly the words that were said. But even with kind of what you have heard from Arakion about the conversation and about what Talia said about Onyx himself, you do. So, like, what's like the big thing that Yuri's trying to kind of like piece together about the events of last night?
Man, so he was told by Talia that like Onyx was known far and wide, and he knows Onyx is like, he knows Onyx is pretty much trouble wherever he goes. He's trying to think of like, I think he's trying to think of like what Onyx's end goal is and what kind of like his vision looks like.
All right. I'm gonna say give me an insight check.
12.
So, considering that when you guys met with Onyx, it was in the middle of the night, you aren't really entirely sure of how to judge him by his you aren't really sure of how to judge him from how you remember his body language was from last night because of like the lack of light and whatnot, even with your dark vision.
Right.
Which I think most of you fuckers do have dark vision.
That's fine.
I don't know if I have it or not.
That's a good question.
Let me check.
Wait, why the fuck would it be?
I
No,
thought Dropper did have dark vision.
Okay.
no, I don't have any dark vision.
Yeah,
doesn't
no.
seem-
Oh,
So like everyone, so it's like everyone except for Rakion.
Yeah,
And
it was in my
technically-
eyes.
And technically Crystalina, because she doesn't have dark vision either as a human. But kind of by hearing Onyx's reputation from Talia and kind of thinking about it, from what she has said of Onyx and like what Arakion said he was trying to do, something isn't adding up for sure. Like a guy with that terrifying of a reputation trying to accomplish something like this doesn't seem to quite match in your head. But that's about as much as you can kind of think right now without meeting Onyx proper.
Fair enough.
Arakion, I'm gonna say, are you gonna be working more on the project itself or blueprints for this route again?
Well, actually, he stepped out to go, maybe check on in the storage shed or whatever, like the extra reservoir of items and stuff that they said that we could have first crack at, So he's gonna go down there.
All right, Big B, are you gonna be following him?
Yes, I will.
So yeah, Arakion, you go back to the ground floor of the temple. You've got Big B trailing right behind you. You make your way over to sort of the storage areas. You see there are like about 3 or 4 sisters walking around with what look to be some form like trying to make sure to kind of like keep inventory and whatnot. But you see one of them does make their way over to you and is like, you guys must be the raiders that helped out with the whole
We're not raiders.
loot. Sorry, seems to end up being a general term for a lot of people these days. But no,
We
Robin said that you.
the boy.
Yeah. Robin said that you guys might be making your way down here. But yeah, feel free to look around. We've got a bunch of different weapons. We've got some potions. Though some actually taste like tea. If that's just a heads up, we have no idea of really telling which is which on that end. But yeah, just the fair warning, some of the potions end up kind of tasting like tea. But aside from that, feel free to look around yourself.
Oh, DM, you've made a mistake leashing me upon these items just to fucking Scrooge McDuck my way in there. You know?
All right.
Okay.
So do you have anything that you're looking for specifically, or are you just kind of looking around?
A deck of cards.
No.
Oh man.
Okay, firstly, he wants to see what kind of potions there are.
Okay.
And also you can if you needed anything you can say as well.
I think I'm set for now. I'll just keep looking.
All right.
Free stuff.
So yeah, potion wise, I'm gonna say give me a give me an investigation check.
Dang mate. Good thing I'm good at investigation. I'm at 17.
Fucking hell. Yeah, so you're looking around. Actually, now I gotta see what type of list they actually do have for potions in this fucking spot. Hold on one sec. You'd think I'd have this prep, but I don't. Sue me.
Laughter is concluded.
Right. So one thing I will say is that you do see that there are various different there are potions of healing that are kind of set throughout here. Looks
He
like
wants to grab
most
them
of
all.
these.
I'm just messing
Oh
him
my
now.
god. Yeah, no, you see that there are some sort of like standard healing potions that are in here. You see some are labeled as resistant potions. It seems like most of these are kind of more for healing and kind of like more buffs rather than like anything grandiose or anything.
I think the healing. He went like what healing y'all got? Yeah,
Right.
healing.
So
Because he doesn't have any. I tried using a healing potion last time when I was getting my shit rocked, and no, I didn't have any at all.
you didn't. Yeah, no, you don't have. So potion wise, you do see that a lot of these are like fairly standard potions of healing, and there are like maybe a couple that look to be a potion of greater healing.
How many of those?
So I'd say there's like 2 greater healings and maybe 4 to 5 standard.
Just take them all. They'll just take all of them.
Okay, so yeah, add. So yeah, add the 2 greater potions and 4 standard into your bag.
Okay, so 2 greater and 4 standard. Damn, if this is their inventory reservoir for all their healing potions, I hate to see the entire thing. So let's see.
Yeah, now I will say that, like, as you're looking around, you do see that it's not as full as it looks to be. You do see a sign that says, that they will be restocking on a lot of these potions soon.
Okay,
And
cool.
you see that the one sister's like, yeah, see, Talia's like one of the few people here that actually make the potions for us and whatnot. Honestly, that's one of the reasons why most of these will taste like it's some type of tea. But dang, all things considered, she's pretty damn good at what she does.
Well, I shall be the judge of that. And upon saying that, he is going to next check around like for any extra bits and bobs he needs for building, like screws, pieces of metal, anything extra, because he's not gonna really put together the whole thing like while he's here, because a lot of the stuff that he has is still being brought over to Baron's Rest via what's his face, Gremlin Kid, Jocelyn Dari, my guy, my man.
Yeah.
So I do have a core though, power core.
Yeah, I'm gonna say give me another investigation check.
God damn it! No, I'm just disgusting at this game.
Well, that's because you roll for stats, you cheap fuck. So with the dirty 20, yeah, you look around sort of in the sort of miscellaneous section of the storage area, and you do end up finding sort of little bits and bobs and whatnot that would help in the long run for supplies and whatnot. All of these seem to be of very good quality too. Looks like a lot of the stuff has been not necessarily polished, but definitely cleaned of various different like sand and dirt, like unlike what you would find in like normal scrap sellers where they would just kind of sell it as is and it would just look all junky and shit. It looks like the sisters actually do take the time to like make sure everything is cleaned up and like taken care of proper. There's only like maybe a couple of things here that have a severe amount of rust, but at that point they're kind of in a trash pile because of the case.
Okay. All right. So yeah, he'll take like miscellaneous that, and then his last thing, I think he's gonna check around. I know that they don't really. Oh Jesus. I know that they don't use guns. Thank you. But he's still gonna check around for any ammo they may have retrieved from enemies, some specialized ammo, things like that, you know.
Yeah. I'm gonna say. Yeah, I'm gonna say give me another investigation check.
No, wait, that's intimidate. Okay, hang on.
Yeah,
oh my fucking god! God damn it!
God damn!
You see these rolls, my guy?
What the fuck? What the fuck, Angel?
Hey.
So. Yeah. So with the 22, you do see that there is like some basic ammunition that they have for firearms and whatnot, and they do have some sort of lower quality ones, but for the most part, you don't really see anything of a higher quality around here. And as you're kind of looking at this, you hear a voice behind you kind of go, "Finding anything interesting?" And you kind of turn to the voice and you see the Yanti that Yuri was talking to at the Abbey, just kind of leaning against a shelf not that far from you.
Hang on. This is the guy. This is the Crowley guy, right?
Yes, this is Amos Crowley.
Amos Crowley.
Okay. And he's just gonna say, not gonna say anything actually. Once he sees that there's nothing there in terms of the ammo section, he hears his voice and he turns to Bigby and he says, "Do you need anything?
No, I think I'm set.
Are you sure? Everything's free."
Well, you've taken all of the health potions, and that's all I would think to get.
Well, these aren't all for me.
Of course.
You see Crowley just kind of looking at you guys with this sort of what the fuck look on his face.
Yeah.
And he's like, nah, these sisters ain't really the firearm type and whatnot. I was like, I don't even think I've seen most of them with a gun. Kind of a weird thing. Like, what kind of raider doesn't use a... Anyway, I digress. I don't think either one of us have been properly introduced. I saw you and your group passing by at the Abbey, and actually had a nice conversation with Genasi there that I think might have been one of your friends.
He actually cuts him off and he's like, "Yeah, I know. I saw you. What do you want? Not in the mood for any foolishness."
Oh, come on now. Fooling around, please. I'm here because, well, word around the vines is that you had a bit of a conversation with the Blood Knight from the Wyvern Axe.
Oh wow, shocker. Everyone knows. And your point?
Well, I've heard that the Blood Knight has had some sort of ulterior motive that doesn't really seem to fit, considering what the leader that he supposedly follows. And honestly, from what I've heard in other sources, you're not the only one that he's gone to sort of a recruitment on.
Okay, cool. I'm pretty sure I'm not. Anyway, Big B, I think it's about time for us to leave.
I agree.
You guys walk away, and Amos just kind of mutters, "Well, some people just don't want a conversation. All right." Yeah, you guys eventually make your way out of sort of the storage area. The sisters don't really check you on anything. You see a couple of them go to the shelves and whatnot and like mark down things that are like taken or missing and whatnot and go to, like, for the lack of better words, the supervisor. But none of them seem to kind of pay you any mind and whatnot as you make your way out with the bits and bobs and the potions.
All right.
And with that, Carlo decided to fuck off. I was going to ask if there was anything he wanted to do, but... so yeah,
Well,
after...
back to my house.
Yeah. So after a little bit of time goes by, at this point it's getting to late morning, almost to the afternoon, where you guys hear the sort of cloister bell go off again. But unlike the times where you've been hearing it go off kind of like every hour and whatnot, this one seems to ring almost in a deeper tone. You see a lot of... You see a lot of the sisters kind of hear it and are a little bit shocked at first, but like a bunch of the ones that were with you last night are kind of more curious than anything. Eventually you see Rogue kind of making her way over to you, and after like sort of catching you at a glance, and is like, "Hey, Talia, grab me. It's time.
I will be there. We will be there.
All right. I'm gonna go find your Genasi friends. And she makes her way out. Backtracking a little bit, as Arakion and Big Meat made their way out, Yuri, was there anything specific you were going to be doing in the couple of hours before the bell goes off?
Sir, no, sir.
All right, so yeah, no, you just kind of hang around for a couple of hours. Eventually, you hear the deep ringing of the cloister bell. I'd say about 5-10 minutes later, you hear a knock on the door.
Opens it.
You see Rogue standing there, a little bit out of breath. And it's like, hey, Talia asked me to grab you and the rest of the gang. Rakion and the Kobold are on their way, but time for the meeting.
All right, let's head down there.
All right, up, actually. We're going to the top level.
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah, let's just hope that the frickin' teleportation circle is fixed.
How do you guys always have problems with that? How is there just consistent problems with this teleportation circle?
Hey, not a lot of us are actual arcane users, and when was the last time you found a very well intact book that described how to use a teleportation circle?
You got me there. You got me there.
And also, the only other way to get information like that is to contact Checkpoint, and honestly, fuck the Tyrians. Those guys are... The mages from there can kind of be assholes.
Yuri has no idea how to respond to that. Let's go.
Yeah, you make your way out of the room. Arakion, Big B, you make your way out into the temple itself. I'm going to roll something here.
Oh boy.
Nothing dangerous.
That's never good.
Yeah, that's what they all said.
Yeah. As
Okay.
DM, that's what I've said.
So yeah, Yuri, you and Rogue make your way to sort of the end of the hall, where you see
Thanks.
you see there's the sort of arcane janitor is not there, and you do see there is a small circle with glowing arcane runes sort of around it, sort of giving off a sort of light blue hum. Rogue just kind of looks at it and is like, well, that's a good sign. Hopefully it stays like this for longer than a fucking week. You first, or do you want me to?
I'll go first, I guess. No harm is there.
All right. Just kind of, as you go in, like, I don't know how familiar you are with teleportation circles, but as you go in, just kind of think in your head that you're trying to get to the top floor and let the circle do the rest, I think.
Okay. Any colors I should watch out for? Should it stay blue? Should it go?
Honestly, I have no idea. I don't do magic.
Okay, great. I'm entering a magic circle with a person who doesn't know anything about magic. This is great. Yeah, steps into the magic circle and then just thinks about going to the top floor.
That you walk into the circle, just kind of thinking for a sec, 2 seconds, 3 seconds. And at the first time thought, you're thinking, oh God, this isn't working. And you're about to say something, but in a flash of light, of blue light, you see it just kind of blind you for a little bit. And eventually as the light dims down, you are indeed on the top floor.
Stumbles.
And you see
Holy shit.
You see Talia and the Kindred Mother are up there, just kind of look towards you. And the Kindred Mother is like, yeah, it's about time they finally got that damn thing working. Talia's like, now come on, you know that. Yes, I know, but still. How long have we had that down? I don't know, 2 weeks, maybe a little longer? Eventually, another flash occurs, and you see a rogue right behind you. And she's like, okay, so you are here. That's good. Hey, so apparently this thing... Yes, we know, Rogue. Thank you.
Raytheon's here, right?
No, Orakion, at this point, you are making your way into the temple and are probably still taking the damn stairs.
Okay, yeah. Okay, I was about to say, yeah, he's a stairs guy.
Yeah, so I'd say about 10, 15 minutes go by, and a side door opens, and you see Orakion and Bigby entering. Slightly winded, because that's a lot of fucking stairs.
I think Bigby especially.
Yeah, no,
Well,
at this point, Bigby...
Would Bigby climb up on top of Arakion's shoulders just to avoid all the headache?
Yes, absolutely. You're right.
To avoid like the stair climbing.
Yeah,
I guess
so
there has to be like.
Yeah, so you're watching Arakion
So
come in
Bigby's
from the
looking
stairs.
for
Yeah, it's just Bigby's just kind of getting a piggyback ride off of Arakion.
I'm pretty sure like Bigby would try to walk first, and he's like, "Yeah, no, okay, this ain't it."
After
Chief.
like, yeah, no, it'd be like Kung Fu Panda all over again.
Oh yeah, I got the gorilla to carry him. Yeah.
So, as the two of you make your way in, Talia's like, all right, that's the last of you guys. Rogue, you mind stepping out for this? This is kind of a little more personal than...
He's gonna say out loud, I would like it if Rogue stayed behind and listened.
All right. What about... It's fine, Talia. I'm certain if anyone from the others should hear about this, Rogue is a viable example. Rogue's just like, okay, that's terrifying. Fine, who else would have been a viable one? The Kindred Mother just kind of ignores this, looks to you two, and is like, I believe that we haven't actually met. So I've heard... No, judging by your appearance, I'm assuming you must be a Rakion.
Indeed I am. And this is Bigby.
We've heard a little bit about you from Rogue and a few of the other sisters that you've worked with in the past, and... Might I say, no matter what circumstances, we are glad that you were able to find various forms of sanctuary within our territory.
I thank you for providing it.
The sisters aid everyone. But as of now, I believe there are more important matters to discuss. You see the Kindred Mother just kind of... So this is the first time you and Bigby actually have seen this top rooms. And what you see is that it's a little bit smaller than sort of the rest of the temple, but considering that it is sort of like a pagoda-style-esque temple, it's not that surprising. But the entire room itself is, for the most part, open. There are really no other walls, no other side rooms. There are like several other rugs and pillows set out across various different braziers for meditation purposes. You do see in the center there is a larger brazier in which there is a statue of the goddess of fire standing in the middle. You see that there is a one thing, Yuri, that is set out there that you didn't see there last time is that as of now there is a table set out with actual chairs, which in a room where there is basically no other type of regular chair, this is kind of a bit odd. But you do see the Kindred Mother sitting at one side. You see Talia sitting next to her on her right, and you see Rogue kind of settling down somewhere on the Kindred Mother's left. And the rest of you have chairs sort of scattered throughout the rest of the table. As you guys settle down, the Kindred Mother, while lighting a couple of sticks of incense and some candles to set along on her side of the table, looks to you, Arakion, and is like, "Now, from what Talia has described to me, last night's discourse was in relation to the Blood Knight Onyx making his way through our territory in an effort."
Pretty much. Says that he wants to usher in a new age where no bandlords, no raiders, no separations exist. He wants to unify everything into one nation. But this is coming from a Wyvernack, so my doubts are quite high.
You see Talia nods and is like, "Honestly, I feel the same thing. I mean, yeah, the method itself is sound and whatnot, but Wyvernacks are tribalistic. They rely heavily on... I mean, yes, like us, they rely on religious beliefs, but they are more dedicated to Haldras, the first Dragonborn, more than any of the other deities who would possibly see themselves as wanting to unify the Outlands into a nation. And even if what he is saying is true, what type of nation does he want to run? Does he want to return the Outlands into an empire, like what happened during the era of silence or is this going to be something different? Is it something he's going to control? We have no way of knowing.
No, but he did say he wanted me to fight and to usher in this new age with him because of my talents. So
Rogue kind of nods and is like, "Well, I mean, I know Rakion, you have issues with the clans themselves. I mean, particularly with the Lions, but I mean, we don't really push into your thing about that, but I mean, aside from that, your talents as a gunslinger are fairly decent. I mean, I don't know about how things were before we started doing things together, but I mean, from what I've heard, you even went through a challenge of the Gunslinger of the Night Heralds and won. I mean, that in itself is a very terrifying feat, to take down a lieutenant of a raider clan.
I've seen my days of fighting and such. I've had a lot of time to explore different avenues and to find the style that suits me. And the style that suits me gets the job done. It always has.
Talia pipes up again and is like, well, there is one other problem. Yes, Onyx thinks that he'd be willing to be a part of this, but we don't know who else he is working with. I mean, for all we know, this could be some sort of ploy from the Bandlord of the Wyvernecks himself. You see the Kindred Mother kind of raise a hand and is like, if Jurati would come up with such a plan himself, I don't think he would go to Arakion for such things. And forgive me for saying that, young man, but it seems like if Jurati would want to do something like this, he would advertise such a thing in a more public manner across the Outlands.
I highly doubt that, considering the backlash that he would get from a lot of the different Raider clans, and who even knows if he even is still with the Wyvernecks. Yes, I still have my doubts, but there could be a chance he's on his own, and why risk getting that out public so he can get hunted down, like me?
Rogue steps in again and is like, I mean, the idea that Onyx is doing this altogether is already a terrifying thought. I mean, but Talia does have a point. We don't know who he's associating with. I mean, for all we know, he could be in alliance with the Reavers, the fucking marked militia. I mean, for all we know, he could be with the Spelltech Raider.
Or like I said, by himself. Which I'm starting to slowly incline my opinion on that side. I mean, why would this be part of another organization's plan? That would only bring danger to them as a plan.
You see the Kindred Mother listening to this turns over to Yuri and goes, what about your thoughts in this, young Volkanov?
Yeah. Like Arakion said, there's completely no reason for someone to put a target on their back and advertise, publicly that they're going to do something so bold like that. I don't know. For me, it just to do something. It seems like he has, cards that we're not aware of, because he wouldn't be telling anybody about anything he's planning to do if he didn't at least believe in it or have some kind of leverage.
And what of the cause itself? Do you believe that no matter who or what the Blood Knight's motives are, that such a thing as returning the Outlands to be a nation is a viable option?
I won't say it's impossible. Whether it's a good or bad thing is another conversation. What I will say is that because of how people have become accustomed to Raider society and separation and clans and this kind of tribalism, it's going to be a lot harder. I don't know if it's the right thing to do.
I see. And also, for Arakion and Bigby, one other thing that I forgot to mention is that as you're looking at the Kindred Mother, first off, you do recognize that she is a Genasi, much like Yuri. But in comparison to Yuri, this lady is old as fuck. Like you thought,
Older than like him?
yeah, no, this lady looks way older than Yuri for some fucking reason. This is like one old ass Granny Genasi.
Can I ask you, Kindred Mother, do you think morally it's a good or bad thing to have this place united under one flag?
You see, she kind of thinks for a sec about your question, looks to you, and is like, the idea of no longer being under a sort of raider society and sort of being reunited with the other nations within Ekra is viable in and of itself. However, the idea of whether or not the time for it is now, that I cannot answer. Talia just kind of nods and is like, the Outlands have been under clan rule for over 200 years, ever since the sort of ending part of the era of silence after Oshakara disappeared. Or disappeared, got destroyed, who knows at this point. See, Roga is like, it's like, the whole thing about the Vanishing City is just a myth at this point. I'm fairly certain it just pretty much got destroyed. Much like the rest of this hellhole.
Big B.
That... No, go ahead.
He's gonna look to Big B, kind of like while everybody else is talking about the Oshakara thing and whether or not if it's gone or dead or flew up in the sky like Ultron did. He's gonna say to Big B, "What do you think? You and I both know that things like this, it's uncommon." Big B.
About the idea of the nation or the...
The idea of the Outlands, being unified. Well, he's not saying this in character. Pretty much all of the Outlands kind of being under one banner and such. And Eregion also carries on and says, "We've traveled this place far and wide, keeping our fingers out of the other clans' pies. So I think the ones that are, if anything, the best to talk on this subject, it would be you and I. So what do you think?"
I really like the idea of a united nation, and I think that this world without Raider clans would be a better place. But the question is, how is he going to go about it?
I think that's our biggest concern. Me, on a personal level, I wouldn't mind if the nation was unified as well. But I certainly don't want anything to happen to anyone who is living in this place innocently. Like someone, say, Yuri's family or anyone else's family. They have no part of this. So I think if we wanted to turn it into a nation, we would have to get people together who we know who can run it when it does eventually become one. And number two, everyone in the Outlands should hold it to a vote. But what he's
We need
saying,
to know if this guy's trustworthy first.
say again?
I said I think we need to know if this guy's trustworthy first, even though I don't have much time to figure that out.
I highly doubt it, considering he's Wyvernack. But like I said before, I think he was on his own.
Talia, listening to this, kind of looks at you, Rakion, and is like, so you're saying that the Outlands should be like some sort of republic or some sort of democracy, kind of like Tyrus?
I wouldn't say democracy outright, but in terms of us deciding on whether this should be a nation or not, we should all hold it to a vote, and then carry on from there.
At that point, we may as well just send out the send out a freaking flare and have the bandlords meet at Apex. The Kindred Mother just kind of looks to Talia. Yeah, the Kindred Mother looks to Talia and is like, I'm not quite so sure it is time for that yet. When the time comes, a meeting at Apex is inevitable, but it has to be at the right time for the right reason.
You're right about that. Considering everything, not to make this all about me, but considering what most of these Raider clans are trying to do to come after just me, who knows who else they're trying to chase down? Who knows if someone like me ended up in another person's turf and blaming the other side for it? With all the war going on within here, like within this place, it may not be the right time to become a nation.
Well, and you see Rogue is like, well, aside from Raytheon, who else would Onyx even want to recruit for such a thing? I mean, considering that he's associated with the Wyvern Axe, there's no way in hell that a clan like the Marked Militia would even want to talk with him. I mean, those guys almost oftenly keep to themselves, considering most of them are Tyrian outcasts or descended from them, like the Lions of the Sands.
I know one. They might have gone to already. Now I'm gonna need you to, like, out of character, I'm gonna need you to remind me. The woman I took her eye out. What was her name again? Starts with an L.
Liza.
Liza. There we go. Okay. So he says, Liza of the Night Heralds. She's the one, at least as of right now, that I can think of off the top of my head, who is close enough to me in skill. But we all know how that turned out.
Rogue just kind of looks at you and is like, wasn't that the one you beat the shit out of at the Crescent Hollow?
Indeed. And right now, something tells me that if they were looking for more like me, she would definitely be who they would go to. And if she's a part of this, I feel pity for whoever goes up against them.
Well, Holly just says like, well, there's no way to really know for sure unless anyone else has got connections across the Outlands, and unfortunately, I don't think I do. I mean, yeah, I can reach out to maybe the Marauders or the Militia, but that's not really going to get us exact answers. Like, the Kindred Mother just kind of looks at everyone and is like, I think the only way for us to get answers about Onyx's intentions is to truly see the truth behind what he is planning, to see who he really has at his side, to see if his intentions are just, or if this is some ploy either from Jarati Kalsura or just from Onyx himself.
Well, when he gets here, I'll ask him any questions. So any other questions that I may need to ask him, I would like for you all to write them down and hand them to me.
You see, they all kind of nod.
That's before I need to make my decision.
You see they nod, and then Rogue thinks for a second. It's like, there is one person who probably has a bigger information network than all of us. And you see Talia just goes, absolutely not. I am not trusting that Yanti. I mean, Come on, let's face it. Amos Crowley is well known for having the largest information network within the Outlands. No. That's final. The guy gives me the creeps as is.
If I may, I know it's a gamble, and I know there are several cons to trusting his info, but it's at least a lead. And if anyone else has any other ideas to get leads quicker than Onyx can start his whatever the fuck plan, I'd love to hear it.
Roll me a persuasion check.
Oh shit, he's not very charismatic. 5.
You see Talia kind of look to you and is like, it's not that his information isn't. I'm not discrediting his ability to get information. He's the best at what he does in that category. Even some of
would you guys mind just like really quickly covering what y'all were just saying?
So Rogue was bringing up the idea of using Amos Crowley for information network, and Talia was shooting it down, and Yuri was trying to back the idea of using Crowley because he's good at what he does, and he failed at persuading the shit.
He's not fucking Wolverine. He's not the best there is at what he does.
Talia just kind of looks to you, Yuri, and it's like, I appreciate your thoughts on this, but... And I'm not discrediting his ability for getting information and reliable information. He's the best at that, and even some of the raiders, some of the sisters we send undercover don't even get information as good as his. But the guy doesn't offer information for free. He doesn't do charity work. Guy likes to make a deal out of everything.
That much I understand. Still, we have no idea. I'm trying to think of what we know about Onyx realistically. If he's still using, Wyvern Axe territory as like his headquarters, or if he's operating out of somewhere else, somewhere remote, or how far along he already is in this plan. Maybe he was, I don't know, maybe it's already in progress, maybe he just needed to fluff out his numbers, who knows?
This is also not forgetting that if I do not take his offer, that he will storm this place and he will try to take the kid and try to take me along for the Lions.
Right. Freaking kid. Always comes back to that thing. The idea that this kid might be one of the claws of Tiamat to prophesize to ensure her return. I mean, I can understand why the Wyvern Axe want to try and get a hold of them, but
I do have an idea.
and that is,
What if I said yes to his proposal and I go I'll be the man on the inside, see what he's up to, and see what this whole thing is. I mean, if Rogue can do it, then so can I.
Rogue looks at you and is like, hey, okay, I've infiltrated raider clans before, but even this is almost a bit too much for me. I mean, like, I have my standards, and like, I mean, Shit, are you sure about this, Arakion?
Honestly, no, but I could do with a little bit of adventure in my life. I've tackled multiple different things, taking over other, raider clans and fighting off any other people that I may need to fight off. So, if anything, this is nothing. If things go south, then I know how to get myself out of it.
You see the kindred mother looks to you and is like, and what if Onyx wants you to do some operation within your territory with the lions? Would you
I'll find my way
still
out. So, I'll find my way out of there, just like I did before.
Very well. You see, she kind of looks to Talia and Rogue and is like, if Arakion is willing to do this, to see what truly lies behind Onyx's intentions, then we will know for certain whether or not he is just, or if he intends to corrupt the Outlands even further than they are.
Indeed.
Talia just kind of sighs and is like, all right, well, you're not a member of the Sisters, so I can't tell you no, but can I at least say that this is the stupidest plan I've ever heard? And I've heard stupid plans before.
Then you haven't heard enough. This is nowhere near that. Trust me, when I plan something out, I don't fly by the seat of my pants. I usually think out all my options, and this is the option that I think works best. I figure out what's going on behind, and if it is what I feel like it should be, then I will continue on with them. And if not, then I'll get out.
All right. If you're going to be going this far, and do you at least want someone back here at the Sisters to have some sort of contact with to pull you out in case shit goes south, or you think you're going to be able to get out of there with your ass intact by yourself?
Usually I'll say I can get my ass out, but I'm not the same as I used to be. These bones are not the same. But I do have someone.
Rogue is like, yeah, and you have a beard.
Already I don't know what to do with that. But he's gonna say
take 1d4 psychic damage. No.
No. Rogue is gonna. Raykion's gonna say Rogue because she's been a contact with him, well, at least for him, for a little bit now. So yeah, that's the person that he's gonna try to keep in contact with. Says she can relay everything that goes on back to you guys and also back to the party.
All right, you see the kindred mother kind of look to Rogue and is like, do you accept this, Rogue? You see, she just kind of sighs, mutters something in halfling, and it's just like, yeah, all right, I'll be his contact. Honestly, it's not the worst thing we've done together. But this, I'm going to agree with Talia on this one. This is probably one of the stupider things you've done.
Probably not. But I have confidence that I can do it.
All right. Well, and you see Talia just kind of looks like, all right, well, that's that off the table. Is there anything else that anyone wanted to discuss? Rogue is like, I mean, the idea of the Spelltech Raider, maybe, but honestly, at this point, Onyx is probably more terrifying. See Talia just kind of sigh and go, yeah, no, fair point. Kindred Mother just kind of looks and is like, I must meditate on the discussions we've had at the moment. See if Rhea might have some insight on the things to come. Talia's just like, Rhea's the goddess of fire, not prophecy, right? I don't even know if we have a god of prophecy. Regardless, Talia, the gods have insights into events that even we mortals cannot see. And therefore, any advice from any god is better than nothing. See, Talia just kind of sighs and it's like, you do you, I guess. I've got some fucking potions to make. Makes her way out of the room. Rogue is like, and with that, I am terrified. I'm gonna go round up some extra supplies. We're gonna need to get some stuff in for your cruiser. You're still muted.
Yeah. Just gonna say, all right. I'm gonna go get myself ready.
All right. Rogue steps away and walks off. The Kindred Mother looks to the three of you and is like, May... Honestly, I don't even know what to say in this matter. This is just an interesting situation. And also considering that neither the three of you are religious of any sort, I don't think a god or goddess's blessings are going to help you in any way.
I used to be, but not anymore.
Follower of Caldras, I assume?
Which one was that?
God of War, also known as the first Dragonborn.
No, it would be the one that that the lions worshipped.
Very well. But in the meantime, you are still more than willing, you're still more than able to stay with us until the time says otherwise.
I will need to go down to my room and I need to make something.
Very well. The only thing that I will say in this manner is good luck.
Let's hope I don't die.
You see she snuffs out the incense and candles at the table and starts to make her way off. And you guys, as of right now, are left at the conference table by yourself.
Oh,
All right, then. Well, you two, you can go about your day however you wish. I'm gonna prepare and finish up my project. And you can tell he's more deep in thought and such. He's not really saying anything. He's not really
Is there any way
saying.
I can help you prepare? I said, is there any way I can help you prepare?
He thinks to himself. Not this time.
All right, I'll be here if you need me then.
Thank you.
Brother, don't die out there. Really be an inconvenience for us.
Be an inconvenience to myself. And then as he says that, as he's standing up, and he goes and walks away back to his room.
All right. And what about the rest of you?
Bigby?
I don't know what I'm gonna get up to.
Totally stalling for time because I don't know what I'm gonna do either.
We might just wander meaninglessly.
Yeah, Yuri. Yuri wants to try to meditate for the first time. Who knows how that's gonna go? But
yeah, I'm gonna say make a wisdom check.
let's see.
Yeah.
It's a natural one.
Oh,
So you try and sit down and meditate to try and gain insight about all this, but you, Yuri, kind of already have a lot on your mind between the stuff that Arakion was talking about with Onyx and like the rest of the sisters, the idea of your own sort of issue, sort of your own thing to take care of, and kind of and the whole sort of maze of embers thing. You kind of have so much juggling through your mind right now that the idea of meditation is almost seems more difficult than trying to lift a giant boulder, to which eventually you just decide to give up on the whole endeavor. And then Bigby, you just pretty much said you're walking around aimlessly throughout the entire area.
yes, but as I see Yuri going to try to meditate, I think I'm going to sit there and like mimic him, but I'm not really meditating. I think I'm kind of taking like a cat nap.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Look carefully enough, I've totally just dozed off.
Yeah, no, you just like try and imitate Yuri, and you're just like, for a second it's like, oh, okay, this is kind of comfy, and then you just kind of doze off for a little bit.
Yeah, it might be more like getting a sunbath for a lizard.
yeah, it's more cat getting a sunbath than meditation. Time time goes on. I'm gonna say we'll do a bit of a time skip here, unless anyone had anything important to do within the next day and a half or so before meeting Onyx again.
No, I look for Arakion. He's just making sure the infrastructure of the project is.
Oh my god, my bro. Okay. So I'm gonna say for this, roll me another Tinker's check with intelligence.
Of course. I always roll good. I don't know what you're talking about. Okay. Okay. Well,
Yeah, so you're kind of going over the infrastructure of the project for the next day and a half or so, and as you do, it seems to be fairly steady for right now, and seems to be doing its job. Yuri, you didn't have anything for the next day and a half. Bigby, were you going to be wanting to do anything for the next day and a half?
I don't think so.
All right. So eventually the 2 days pass, and it is time to once again meet up with Onyx. As usual, a couple of the other sister cruisers kind of tag along behind you because this meeting is still within sister territory. Before completely driving out, Rogue goes to you, Raytheon, is like, all right, so I know you don't really like anyone adding additional stuff to the cruisers, but in this particular instance, I think it's fucking important for this one. Goes to kind of one of the consoles and pulls out a stone-like object and is like, all right, so this is how you're going to be able to get in contact with me. This can...
You know what's interesting? I've made it. Excuse me, sorry.
You good there?
Yeah, blockage. He says, interestingly, I actually made a device of my own to keep in contact with you.
Oh, well, fuck me. I keep forgetting your spell tech guy. All right.
Here, just give me your thing. I know who to give this to.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, that gets a hold of me. It's more along the lines of it's not necessarily a kind of two-way situation like most things, but you can just use this to send out a message to me and I can respond to it. And from there, we can eventually find a meetup point somewhere to kind of discuss more things and then go on our way.
All right. He'll take this and yeah. Oh, and when he gets that, wherever Bigby is, he wants to go over to where Bigby is and hand him his little device thingy.
All right, so Raytheon, you can add a sending stone to your inventory.
A sending stone, okay. I like sending stones. How long do they go again? Wait, what's the distance?
I'm not entirely sure.
Cool. Well, we'll just say that they go on for, eternity. And
We'll say this one has the range for it.
And yeah, he gives the device to Big B and is gonna say, "This is so you can keep in contact with me."
So basically, Big B gets a sending stone.
Yeah, but in game form. So if you ever need anything,
Gosh,
or if you
my Wi-Fi is being really iffy, but no, I have a setting stone. We'll keep it safe.
he says, if you ever need to ask me something, talk to me or anything, I'm here.
I will. Stay safe.
I will. And he actually is gonna kneel down and give him a hug.
Bigby will immediately reciprocate it.
All right.
And
You're in charge
with
on the
that,
way.
all right. So with that, Raytheon, you get in your cruiser. Yuri and Bigby, are you guys going to be following him to the location, or are you just kind of staying within the temple and just kind of waiting it out?
I'll follow just for safety.
All right.
I'll go with them.
Yeah, so you guys kind of follow out. At this point, it is kind of more closer to daytime than the night because, that's just how it is now. You all kind of make your way over to the meeting spot, and you do see that there, once again, there is a campsite set out with a group of people.
He pulls up and he's gonna, hop out and announce himself.
You kind of pulling directly up to the campsite, or?
Oh yeah. God, Jesus. Like a good distance away, maybe 50 or so feet, maybe more.
Yeah. All right. And then Yuri and Bigby, are you guys going to be in Arachion's cruiser for this, or are you going to be like in one of the cruisers kind of following behind?
I think I'll. Oh, depends on what. I'll be in one of the cruisers following behind. Yeah.
All right, Big B.
I'll be in the same one as Yuri.
All right. All right, same one as Yuri. All right, so then yeah, the ones behind kind of are a little bit further behind Arakion than anything else. And Arakion, you make your way up to the campsite, and you see that there are a few different people kind of sitting around this spot in comparison to a couple of days ago. One of which you do see a kind of larger man that you do see actually give me a perception check.
Oh boy. It's a good thing I'm good at looking at things with my third eye. Guess not.
So basically, the only thing that you can really tell is it looks like some of the people within this group are not all from the Wyvernack clan. You see they kind of have different armors on that looks like that they're from different clans themselves. And then eventually you do see Onyx, who kind of gets his sights on you, kind of walks over and is like, "Oh, Rakin. Mighty nice to see you out here once again." So, I take it you've had the time to think over my proposition from the other night.
I did. But I had one question.
By all means.
You say you're Wyvernack. What's to stop you from getting, I guess, allow me to rephrase. How do I know that you're not working with the Wybernacks and you're trying to take over as the supreme Raider clan? And by unifying us, you mean taking over and invading and making sure that Wybernacks are on top.
You see, he actually kind of chuckles at this for a sec. And he's like, "Oh, my dear Draco kid. My brother in dragons. Do you really see me as an overlord? I mean, shoot, I know I have a mean reputation of my own, just as you do. But let's be honest. I'm a swordsman, yes. I'm a raider. I am, as you said, of the Wyvernacks. Traditionalists, in the name of the first Dragonborn. But I am no ruler. I am no warlord. I have no intention of ruling over these Outlands myself. And quite honestly, I don't even... if I was the one in charge of a unified nation within these lands, it would probably fall into some form of disarray that I might not be able to manage on my own. And as to your idea of this being an entire Wyvernack scandal, I can assure you that the Bandlord Gerati Kalsumra has no idea of me meeting with folks out here. I mean, sure, I've traveled quite a ways to quite a few other places, but this little coalition, as it were, has no ties with the Wyvernacks, the Lions, the Marauders, no other clan. Sure, we might eventually have members that may eventually work their own missions within Raider clans, but their allegiance would be more to this coalition than to the clans themselves, if you understand.
And if I do join this coalition, will I have free reign to do whatever I want, or I guess whatever I want is too broad. Would I have free reign to go off, visit any other cities, or talk to whoever I wanted, and such? Obviously, keeping the secrets within here, but will I be able to have outside friends?
Of course. And albeit it would be nice to have someone like you to kind of traverse around, gaining information throughout every other area, so just to mingle, as it were. I ain't gonna step in your way around that. I mean, hell, if you wanted to, you could probably walk right back into Caliona and talk to Avis yourself if you wanted to. At that point, I'd say, at the very least, I can ensure that the Wyvernax would not be able to ensure any sort of imposition on you towards that sort of a travel. And with any luck, I might be able to convince some of the lions themselves to step out of their way. Ain't that right, friend? And you see that he turns to another person within the group here, and you actually, to your surprise, end up seeing a familiar face of a drow.
I know him. I know that fucker. God damn it, Robert. No.
Of a drow, not a half orc.
No. I know who this is.
You see your friend Charisse in some surprise is like, I mean, maybe some of them, yeah. At the very least, it'll be easier to get through lion territory. You see Onyx just kind of cuts her off right there and is like, and that's half the battle right there.
He sees Charisse immediately when she speaks, and he doesn't even say anything. Doesn't even bat an eye, honestly.
Damn.
But he's gonna look and he's gonna say, final concern, and then I'll say yes.
Very well.
Yeah. Will we be interfering with innocent people? Will we be invading and putting others' lives at risk that don't have any business with anything pertaining to this?
Of course not. Now, I know you've had some disputes in situations like that in the past, but I can assure you that while we might occasionally try and convince some folk like in that particular vein to lend a hand towards our cause, I can assure you that the idea of raiding and harming innocent folk, well, that would make us no better than the raiders we're trying to defend. We're trying to go up against, and now that would seem a little bit wrong towards the cause of unification, wouldn't you say, my friend?
Indeed. All right then. I'll join your merry band of misfits.
I thought you might say so. And I know that you have some attachments to some of your friends over yonder. Kind of looks towards the line of looks to the cruisers away from you. I mean, I can assure you that if you wish to travel with them, I ain't gonna try and persuade you otherwise. I know there is one that in very particular that you do have a certain bond to, but as for the rest of your little band themselves, I have no arguments with them tagging along with you in our name. They don't need to swear in their own if they don't want to, but I ain't gonna argue with them being alongside with you if that's your way.
All right, I'll talk to them and see what they say. But I will assure you that they will not spill anything to anyone, and nor will I.
Very well. Now, with that all said, I do believe it's time for the rest of us to be on our way. And I can assure you that in time we will. And I can assure you that in this first case, we do not necessarily need to resort to any fighting among the raiders at the moment, but in this particular case, a mere conversation with some of them might be in aid, and I know these sisters here seem a bit more on neutral ground, but well, they don't necessarily have to be the first on our list, now do they?
Considering they are the easiest, I would leave them for last. Start harder.
Very well. Oh. Do you have any particular clan in mind you think might be interested into filling our ranks within this little coalition?
I highly doubt they'll be interested, but this is one that's been a thorn in my side and would give me it would give me more pleasure to bring them along to sign. And that is the Night Heralds. If we can get them to unite or get them to come on board, then making others or helping others to join our side will be a little bit easier.
I think for a second I was like, well, you do have an interesting proposition, but from last I heard, these Night Heralds seem to be having their own problems, and considering that a good chunk of their own end up being taken down by this Spelltech raider.
You're right. Yeah. They have their own problems. Well then, I'd propose the only other solution, the only other real option be Marauders.
And Marauders. Now that would be an interesting place to start.
Indeed.
I will admit I do not have any connections at the moment within the Marauder territory, but that doesn't necessarily mean that that has to stay as is.
Me neither. Other than the interactions with them that I've had with the Lions, I don't have any other. And if along the way we meet a little Night Herald who manages to escape from her hideout with one eye, then I say we should turn our tail and not invite her along for the journey. I've had a run.
I see. You must be talking about that little shapeshifter Liza, are you not?
Indeed, she is the one.
Well, I can assure you that as of this moment, she is not within membership of the coalition, but I have heard some rather troubling rumors about her within Night Heralds. You see, my good friend Zaraquil here. He turns to one of the others who, as you get a closer look, is wearing Night Herald attire. Has told me a little bit more about this troublesome event that happened within the Crescent Hollow itself. And apparently, there's been some major conversation that the reason that this Spelltech raider made his way into the Crescent Hollow to begin with is the fact that he was led there by Liza herself.
Wait, you're saying that the person who took down a decent chunk of their ranks, you're saying that it's damn near second in command brought him there?
You see the Night Herald, Zaracriel, look to you and is like, apparently after your duel, she felt betrayed that Alessia stayed with standard traditions for the sake of honor and didn't step in to ensure her safety and therefore felt betrayed. And she vanished from that night, and then next thing you know, Spelltech Raider showed up, and she was right there with him.
So it wasn't. He says this to himself. So it wasn't me.
No. But if you helped the Night Heralds ensure that the Spelltech Raider is no longer a threat to the Night Heralds, and Liza is, at the very least, captured, that may put you into Alessia's graces a little bit further, to the point where she might be willing to band with the Coalition, or at the very least, a good chunk of the Night Heralds will.
And how would you know about this, Harold? Do you have personal connections to Alessia? Do you have communication with the higher ups over there at the Hollow? Anything? Or were you just a grunt?
I was a warrior within the Night Heralds, and before then, I was a warrior within the ranks of the Lord of the Hells, Asmodeus. Well, I'll admit, I was not able to attain a high ranking within the high rankings like Liza, but I do have connections throughout most of the Night Heralds themselves, and many of them will listen to me and in respect for my skills as a warrior and for the fact that I trained most of them in the art of combat.
Well, he's actually going to turn his way back to Onyx, and he's going to say, now that I'm thinking about it, and now that he's brought this up to my attention, the Heralds are, while they are going through their own thing, they are quite weakened, and they are quite vulnerable, one might say. Vulnerable to reason and pacts, if given a chance. If what he says is true, and I manage to bring in Eliza and stop this thing that's taking over the Night Herald territory, That could very much be our easy way for Alicia to join our coalition.
You see, Charisse is also kind of listening in. There's like a few steps behind Onyx, but she kind of steps up and is like, the spell decorator is also a problem for the lions themselves. He's taken out many of our patrols, so eliminating him would also gain some favor with the Lions of the Sands, to the point where more of them might end up joining the coalition.
Oh,
Onyx kind of listening to this kind of smiles and is like, well, 2 birds, 1 stone. Sounds like you got yourself a bit of a mission ahead of you, Rakin.
Indeed. And by the way, he looks to Sharice. This thing that I'm doing, if I had it my way, I would let him tear through the lions. I wouldn't even consider them a factor. But it's not my leadership.
You see Onyx step in and is like, now, I know the 2 of you have something of a sordid past, but from this point on, you have to understand that whatever happened back then is just nothing more than the past, and as of right now, neither one of you are members of a clan or outcasts, but are members of this here coalition. You may not like it, but you have to respect it. Are we clear?
Indeed we are. We need to put away our gripes, unfortunately. But they can bring this nation together, and it's worth doing.
Oh, well. John, either with the Night Heralds or with the Lions themselves to gain more information about this spell tech raider. I will say that as of right now, time is not really of the essence, as we are still trying to improve our ranks to the point of being forced to, for lack of better words, forced to be reckoned with. But I will say, talk first and fight second. You can gain more. However, when it comes to this spell tech raider and Liza herself, deal with it however you see fit. Whether it's to capture them, make sure they no longer walk on this plane.
All right. Well, I'll go rendezvous with my party, and we can find out a best solution to tackle this. And no, I will not be going after the Lions first. The Night Herald, at least then, we have... The Night Heralds, we've dealt with each other recently, and so there's a lot less bad blood with our party in particular. Meanwhile, I think that you, Charisse, should go about the Lions and see what you can find out. And as for the coalition itself, where exactly do I need to report, or where should I meet?
I'm sure you can find ways to reach out to us, but in any sort of event, I wouldn't mind you contacting me directly, and to the point where we can work out some sort of a rendezvous.
All right, then. Here. He reaches into his bag and he tosses him a little device.
You see Onyx just kind of catches it without flinching. Just kind of looks and is like,
This is so we can.
An interesting device.
This is so that we can. If I can find a way to rally the group, I can just contact you and we can work out where to meet.
Very well.
All right then, I'll be on my way.
Good luck, my friend.
Indeed. All right, and then Yeah,
you make your way back to the cruiser. You see Onyx is talking to everyone else. They're packing up their stuff for the final time. You get in the cruiser and just kind of make your way to where everyone else is at, which isn't that far, thankfully. But you see this time around, a lot of the sisters aren't as, for lack of better words, as trigger happy as they were the first time around.
Well, thankfully, yeah. He pulls up.
And mainly because there's actually less of them here than there were last time. At this point, there's like maybe a cruiser, maybe one cruiser in which Sasha is driving, and a couple of other runners that are just kind of traveling alongside.
Yeah. So he takes his cruiser and then he pulls up to everybody else and he okay, so he's actually gonna wait for what's his face? Yuri and Blig, I was about to call you Bligby. Bigby. To also pull up to the temple as well too. So we can really talk about this.
Yeah, so you're just basically kind of driving straight back to the temple then?
Yeah.
Or all right, yeah, you drive straight to the temple, everyone else follows you. Eventually you park outside the temple. Yuri, Bigby, you get out of Sasha's car, make your way over to Raytheon.
All right, so I've got some pretty interesting news. He's not really gonna say everything because he is gonna probably wait until we all like get together and meet up. But he's just saying this mostly to Sasha, Bigby, and Yuri. Yeah. Firstly, upon showing up there, they all weren't a part of Wyvern X. I can tell from their uniforms that they were from different clans. I think I saw one or two were from Night Heralds. One, unfortunately, who I know, one of them is from the Lions, and a couple of others from a bunch of other places. But I know that they aren't all Wyvern X. So that probably puts to bed our theory with him making room for the Wyvern X to take over. But also, I asked them if they were going to be stomping on any innocents or anything like that, and there was a negative on that as well. But I've got...
I said that's good news at least.
No ways. But my first mission, at least, considering... So as it turns out, the thing that was taking out that whole Night Herald business, it turns out that they weren't after me. They were after, Liza, after everything that happened with me fighting her and her going along with the challenge and etc. She felt betrayed by Alessia, and so she contacted this person and took out a third of the Raider clan entirely, and so that's how that ended up happening. So if I managed to take down Liza, either capturing or killing, taking down Liza and said Spelltech Raider, then maybe we can recruit them along with the coalition. So for the most part, it seems mostly peaceful. We're not invading a Raider clan to force them to join us or anything like that, but we're just trying. It seems like he's trying to ease everybody into it by doing small things like that.
It's still, man, it still feels weird to me. It's like, because
It does indeed feel weird.
yeah, I mean, I don't know if you guys ever met this guy, but I mean, I don't have shit on him, really.
Yeah, me neither. And I doubt that Big B does too. But one thing I do know is that he does allow for any people I choose to come along with. Not necessarily to join the coalition, but to join me on my missions. So would you like to go on an adventure?
Wouldn't be opposed.
I'm always willing.
And everyone else who is not here nods and says yes.
Yeah. You see Sasha kind of listening in on this and just like, well, I think for now the sisters are going to stay out of this whole coalition business. I mean, you can
Which
still
would probably be the best, considering that Raider clans being, if anyone finds out that you're a part of anything and somehow our operation goes belly up, then you guys would be in hot water as well.
True.
I'll talk to Talia. I'm fairly certain we're all going to come to the same agreement about this, but for now, you still can have contact. You can still have Rogue as a contact here at the Sisters in case you find out anything else about Onyx, this whole coalition business, or anything in that category. The idea of... Seems like this guy seems to have a high respect for you, Rakion, and that in itself is already putting you in a better position than probably most within that little group. But if you can end up getting close to Onyx to find out what's truly going on here, then, well, this may sound very cliche and like we're back within the second era of this fucking world, but fate of the Outlands, I guess at this point, rests in your damn hands.
No pressure. Thank you.
Oh, no, totally.
Well, I'd say that for now, we should go, and I need to talk to my group to see how we're going to tackle this thing.
Take your time. You need to stay here at the temple as long as you need before you head out.
Indeed. And when we do leave out, it will be probably a while before we come back, because we wouldn't want him thinking that I'm still, with the sisters, and I'm giving you guys information or anything like that. I will, though,
Oh, no.
keep something attached to me so you guys can get any sort of information as you may need.
Yeah, we'll have Rogue stay with the Sending Stone for as long as we can, and when the time gets right, we may see about having some of the other sisters making their way into the coalition as well, but for right now, that may not be the best option.
Honestly, I was thinking of having Rogue come along with us and join us.
Well, we can cross that bridge when we get there, and hopefully after this whole Spelltech Raider business, things might end up looking a little bit better for you.
Hopefully.
Well,
When we go back and we talk about it, I would like Rogue to come up to our room. So if you could you send her up?
Of course. Yeah. In the meantime, I know this really isn't your purview anymore, but we can keep Ryukai here until we get more information about what the hell happened to his aunt and everything, and see if she can take him back. But until then, he's more than willing to stay here.
Well, he's not my responsibility anymore. Whatever you guys choose to do with him.
Yeah, I know he's not, but I thought that you would like to know anyway after everything that happened.
Thank you, anyways.
Yeah. You guys rest up. If you need any other different supplies, if you needed to get some different armor or whatnot, get some better weapons. We don't really have much, but we do have a couple of things that might end up helpful down the line.
I do have one quick request.
Yeah?
Because we can't really return to Baron's wet rest as of right now, I would like you to get word out to Doc Mandari to see if we can have anything that he's gotten for me transferred over here and get it delivered.
Yeah, not a problem. Baron's Rest, thankfully, is still within our territory to some extent, so getting hold of Mandari... Is that the Waste Elf guy?
Yes.
God, he's a weird one. Do you have any idea how, I've only been there a few times, but do you have any idea how he does that thing where he just, disappears in one area and then comes back in, a different location?
Hey, I only buy stuff from the man. I don't know what trickery he uses.
I mean, that's fair. Alright, yeah, no, either way, I can get a hold of Mandari. I think Talia knows him better than I do, though I'm not entirely sure to what degree, but those two have a better history than me and him altogether. But we can ensure that whatever Mandari's got going for you gets brought over here, and we can have Rogue contact you when it arrives.
All right. Well then, we will be on our way then.
Yeah, but in the meantime, if you guys want to get some better weaponry or something, I don't know. It looks like you guys are doing well on your own at the meantime, but
thank you for supplying, and thank you all for helping us out.
It's what we do. It's one of the reasons why we have kind of been known as one of the more gentler raider clans out here. Oh, I mean, when you have a clan that's made up of monastic values, it kind of seeps into the rest, even when they're not that religious. Though, I mean, I kind of am the devil's advocate here. I'm a paladin, for crying out loud.
I knew one. I knew only one paladin in my life, and he somehow disappeared.
Well, was he a good friend of yours, or?
I wouldn't say a good friend, let alone not even a friend. He joined us a little while back on our first mission together.
Okay,
And
Jerome,
after
if
that,
you're watching this, we're not shit talking you, man. This just kind of
We
happened.
love you, bro.
We love you, bro.
after everything that happened, he just sort of skedaddled. He didn't want to be a part of any of this. Considering the dangers of any raiders that may come across us, I don't blame him.
I don't either. I mean, some of us are born to the Outlands, and some of us are just kind of thrown into it.
But I say he's almost halfway to Tyrus right about now. Assuming he even got out.
Well, may never know, but hey, in the meantime, just don't die. Just don't die. I'm fairly certain Rogue would end up killing everyone if that was the case. I don't know why. She really enjoys working with you, but
I don't see why.
I don't know. I think some of us are having drinks over at the tavern. Though I think in this case, Talia's making sure it's more tea than ale. I don't know what the hell her thing is with tea, but okay. To be fair, she is called the Alchemist for some possible reason, but
We'll think about coming over and joining, but we gotta sort this out first.
yeah. Head on up to your room.
And yeah,
Yeah, no, she's just kind of unsure of how to kind of phrase this because she literally beat the crap out of you 2 nights ago, and now a bunch of other shit's happened, so she just kind of walks off.
Cool. But I swear, if this was a fight and with the distance, then I would have, bam, shot her. I would have shot her good.
Well, that's what happens when you bring a gun to a sword fight.
Well, you know what? You would think it would be cool and it would be easy, but no.
Also, that's what happens when you bring an artificer to a paladin fight.
And she sort of deflected and sliced through all the bullets I've been giving her.
Not to mention Divine Smite.
Yeah. But
yeah, no, the Divine Smite kind of killed your ass.
Yeah, oh my god.
That's rough. Buddy.
Oh god, yeah. I remember that. Yeah, because you decided, even though you decided to use that at the very last. Anyway, we're done.
Anyway, so
let's head back up to the hotel room or the inn or the place that we stay at.
You guys head back to your room within Temple. Yeah.
Well, off to bed.
Wait, what time is it right now?
I'd say at this point it's like maybe late afternoon.
Oh.
Yeah. All right, so yeah, he's gonna give him the rundown of everything pertaining to the Night Heralds, as usual. He already kind of gave, what he already had, but he wanted to more go into the in depth.
He just basically gave the cliff notes about everything. Do people even still use cliff notes?
I did in high school.
Oh, I fell off the cliff.
Damn.
But yeah.
Okay. No, high school doesn't count. That was like 4 years ago.
Oh my god, I am old.
Well, Well, for y'all, it was 4 years ago. For y'all, it was 4 years ago.
How long ago? We're getting off track.
7
so
years.
yeah.
Anyway, he's gonna go. Yeah, he's just pretty after giving the cliff notes and giving everything that he had talked about. He's gonna say, "Now I think, in terms of planning, how do you all think we should go about this?"
Okay, so Onyx has you on missions, but ultimately working kind of under him for this goal, right?
Yeah.
So,
But this, I'm gonna be alone, except with the people I bring.
okay, man. Okay, do you have? What's your prioritized targets? Who are we going for first? What are we trying to achieve first? I suppose.
Well, considering if Alicia doesn't know that Lysa brought the spell tech raider there, then Liza would still be there.
Right.
And if she isn't, then the spell tech raider would still probably be there. If not, he would have fled off to somewhere else. So I'd say our first priority should be Liza, unfortunately. And then with the with he's okay. I'm blanking, but he's not. He says next.
Beltec Raider.
Raider. Yeah. Sorry. I'm blanking. That was me.
You gotta start taking notes, my man.
I do. I have the notes, but I don't have them on me because I'm in an awkward position here. I'm outside right now.
Oh, see?
But
Notes.
No, but he then says to everyone, "I have one plan. Considering that the spell tech raider is a thorn in their sides, I say we appeal to Alicia first." He says that Onyx says that if possible, if we can get through this without fighting anyone, then that would be best. So, I think appealing to Alicia first, which means that we may get surrounded and we will be ambushed, but we need to bring this up to her first, so that when it gets done, they know who to credit.
I like that.
What do you think, Bigby?
Honestly, I'm not sure what we should go from here.
Do you think how do you okay, so Liza first or Raider first?
I'll say Liza first.
And you?
Oh, I think Eliza first makes sense. Yeah.
Meanwhile, on the other side of the room, you hear Icarus go, "Hey, can you guys keep it down? I'm trying to fucking sleep."
He doesn't even pay attention. But
Perfect.
he actually does. Actually, you know what? So he says after Icarus says that, he's gonna say, "All right, then, first order of business: get captured by Alessia, appeal to her, and go and take down Liza." So that would be we would need to go into Night Herald. Kind of says it a little louder. Night Herald territory yet again.
You know what? Yeah, you just hear shuffling, and Icarus is like, "Oh, you gotta be fucking kidding me. We just got out of that damn thing because of the bullshit you pulled."
Hey, don't try to act all grown now that you have to go back to them. You were one who was with them.
I'm older than you. That doesn't matter.
So don't act like you don't want to go there now when you've been buddy-buddy with them this whole time.
It hasn't been buddy. We just... It's complicated.
You're either with them or you're not.
Well, I mean, at this point now, they wouldn't really say I'm with them.
Which, honestly, this brings to something else to my attention. Why are you even here? Like, why exactly are you trying to come along with us? Especially knowing what I did to your little friends, or your little friend there. I mean, you're with an enemy.
Okay, first off, not my friend. Fuck you very much. Secondly, long story short, because... long story short, there's someone connected to me that really thinks that for some reason, sticking along with you fuckers are apparently the best bet for me right now.
No, really. I hope we don't get in the way of your little gang of ravens.
Oh, fuck you. He just goes back to sleep.
Just so you know, if it comes time for me to show the same mercy to someone else in that group, I will not hesitate to do so.
He just flips you off.
And with that, I think we have our plan.
Okay. Do we... Never mind. I was going to do a joke. I'm going to save it.
Yeah. I think after that whole thing, after, talking about the plan and then bickering with Icarus again, he's just gonna
sorry.
He's going to go to lie down on his bed and just lay down, like look up at the ceiling and clear his head.
You guys lie down. I'm guessing everyone else does the same.
Yep.
He's not trying to sleep though.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Big B, what about you?
Yeah, I will.
Yeah, so you guys just kind of hang around and relax for a bit. After some time, one of the sisters actually brings each of you guys a plate of food and a cup of tea.
This tea is really good. He doesn't say that in character.
Aragion doesn't give two shits about tea.
Just know if you try to text me, I will throw it into the river.
What river? You're in a fucking desert.
I know. I'm trying to make a colonial.
I know. Shut up. But no, this is actually fairly good tea. It's nice. It's kind of nice and relaxing. It's not oversteeped. Whoever the fuck made this knew what they were doing.
And this is honestly the best tea he's ever had, considering the only tea he's ever known of was mud brew.
Just the mud brew tea. That's a thing now.
Yeah. They take the few herbs that reside in the dirt, and they put the dirt inside the water, and they mix it up nice and good.
Mud brew tea.
Oh, God.
Mud brew. Good old
just between mud brew and the one time a couple of nights ago where you had that health potion that kind of tasted like tea.
Yeah.
This is actually, and even that wasn't too bad, but it was just kind of weird that it had that flavoring. But now after a bit, you guys just end up having your dinner and kind of go off on your night's rest.
The gentle air
Are
of the night.
you guys? Yeah, are you guys going to be doing anything else before you guys go to bed? Raytheon, I'm guessing you're going to be tinkering away.
No. Is this one I should save for later? I think he'll probably wait for the. He's gonna actually. He might. Yeah. You know what? Just to keep it simple here, he'll talk to Rogue later. He'll stay here and work on his thing. Not too much though, obviously, because he still needs to wait for shipments and the proper
Right.
thing.
Yeah.
But he's just gonna get built what he can.
All right. So yeah, and then what about the rest of you?
Yuri passes out.
Same here.
Yuri
I do
pass-
not have anything to do. I don't have any good tasks.
All right. Yeah, you guys pass out. Yuri,
Oh god.
Oh, the gentle air of the night whisked you away.
Fuck.
you you fall asleep, and in your dreams, you hear sort of the sounds of whispering. It sort of starts out faint and it sounds faint and distant at first. And as you open your eyes, you are still sort of surrounded by darkness and shadow. There are wisps of what seems to be mist, sort of from your waist downward, swirling around. But aside from that, you still cannot see anyone else or anything else. Eventually, the whispering sort of starts to get louder and louder. And the only thing that you can truly make out as of right now is the fact is that you hear your name being whispered. There's various other things that are happening in this moment, but the one thing that you can make out for sure is your name being whispered within the voice from a male and a female voice. The male voice sounds a lot older than the females, though, but either way, in sort of rotation, you hear the whispers of Yuri. Suddenly, you see a flash before your eyes. The sound of clanging metal, sparks. You get a glimpse of what looks to be an axe of some sort. Another clash. You see the eyes of a younger person looking determined, angered. Flames starting to reach across their face. Vision goes dark again. Another clash. You see walls of molten rock, obsidian, tunneling through corridor after corridor. Darkness again, another clash. Once again, you see the axe, this time being scattered across the floor. Vision goes dark again. As this is going on, you still hear the voices kind of around you. Yuri. And with one last sound of clashing metal and sparks flying, you see what looks to be a hidden door within a cave wall of some sort, outlined with some sort of darkened, sleek rock, maybe obsidian as well. You don't know. And then your vision goes dark once again as you awake from your sleep.
Wakes up in a cold sweat.
And that is where we're going to leave today's episode.
Holy shit.
Holy fuck. Okay.
Wow.
Thank you guys. Yeah, thank you guys for playing, and thank anyone who's watching this for watching. Tune in next week to see what the fuck happens with the coalition and why the fuck Yuri is hallucinating now.
What the fuck was that?
I think it was a hallucination. Is kind of cruel.
Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, no. Tune in next week for the next episode of this. Hopefully, we get at least the rest of the fucking group back for once. Or at the
Jesus Christ, please.
please, or at the very least, Lou, stop being sick, you Aussie fucker.
Ross, please come back, please.
I'm
Stay-
trying. I'm trying.
Yeah, stay back, please, please.
I'm not gonna lie to you. Next week I graduate, and then I don't know what I'm doing. So I might have no
shit.
time.
Next week you graduate. Oh shit.
Dude.
Damn, time
Oh, yeah.
flies.
Oh.
All right. But
Another
yeah,
reason to remind me of how old I am. Thank you.
yeah, no shit. The three of us. Yeah, no, me, Angel, and Carlo are old as fuck.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, 7
Yeah.
years since I've been. Oh yeah, hang on, I forget we're on air still. Go ahead.
Oh,
yeah, we're still on air. Anyway, but yeah, I just roped Angel into a fucking revolution.
Hey.
Tune in eventually down the line for what the fuck happens. And until then, see you guys later.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.